talking about debate, let's get into the qualities of debate in ATU Parliament. Are debates in the House impactful or just routine formalities?
Very impactful. The concepts of debates is not just about one person speaking and the other person listening, or two individuals just having arguments together. It's about changing mindsets. And mindsets is about indoctrinating people into good ideas. It's about
Okay.
teaching people that apart from using this particular field, there is another line that you can toe that can also give you a better result, right?
Hello there, welcome to Parliament Pause right here on ATU TV. My name is Bright Watch It Blade. Is ATU Parliament driving change or just watching? Today we focus on key issues in student leadership and governance. Is ATU Parliament shaping real student decisions or only observing from the sideline? A parliament must go beyond debate, right? It must influence, act, and deliver results students can see. Today, we examine the impact, accountability, and relevance of ATU Parliament. Stay with us as we break down the importance of it. Now, joining me today is Gloria Crusader Babson, member of the Majority Caucus, and Honorable Revelation Ameteme. He is the Minority Leader. You are all both welcome to ATU Parliament Pause. Now, before we get into the main discussion, let me check in with both of you. How are you all doing?
Personally, I'm doing great.
Mm,
Personally, you didn't add honorable to my name.
I'm so sorry, Honorable Crusader.
Thank you.
How are you doing? You're looking so beautiful.
Thank you.
Your
By grace.
smile. All right, so Gloria, how has Parliament been so far?
It has been a very learning experience, a very interesting one at that. I think that my eye has opened to when it comes to parliamentary proceedings. I've
Mm,
also been able to interact with very knowledgeable people on constitutional affairs and generally state of affairs when it comes to politics and then the constitution at large. So I'd say that so far I'm enjoying everything that is coming.
wow. Okay, let me come to Revelation. Honorable Revelation. What has been the most challenging in the house recently?
Yeah, recently I will talk about our voice being heard outside the house. Our voice being heard outside the house. I think that's been one of the most challenging issue we are facing right now. We need the support from both the SRC and the university authority, as the school studio is helping broadcasting some programs of the Parliament House. It's really important and it's really helping, and we need to improve and do more. So basically, that's most challenging thing we are facing.
All right, so let's get into the main question. I mean, the main discussion, and let's start with the big question, right? Okay, so is ATU to this goes to Gloria? Is ATU Parliament truly influencing student decisions or just observing?
ATU Parliament is indeed influencing positively students' decisions.
Okay.
So, student decisions are influenced by a lot of things. First of all, it could be influenced by the kind of people you meet, the kind of things you hear, the people you interact with. I think that since the start of the ATU Parliament on ATU campus, we've had leaders of the SRC or even departmental leaders who have one way or the other passed through the ATU student parliament. They've picked up leadership skills, they've picked up how to listen to the people that they've served, but then most importantly, they've learned how to adapt to different changes that happen every single day and make the best decision for their people. So I think
Wow.
that positively it is impacting and we hope that it continues just like that.
Wow. Wow. Honorable Revelation. Do you agree with her, or do you see anything different?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what she's saying.
Mm,
That's true.
all right. Okay, now let's be specific here. Has the House taken any decision that is directly changed students' life recently?
Yes, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. For example, the house organize some programs at the Parliament House
Okay.
and some leadership seminar, and we go among with the members, honorable members of the house, and through these seminars, through these programs that we attend, it empowers us, it encourages us, and most students stand on it to even get the courage to go for position. As my honorable was saying, they go for position
The SLC
at the
decision.
SLC
Okay.
level, at the departmental level. And when we see that, it's really the impact of the house. It's coming from the inflation of the house.
Wow. To Gloria, can you point to a clear example from your side?
Yes,
What he said.
I think that this particular show, I think that to whom due respect is needed, we should give it to. So I say that I'd like to use this opportunity to thank the Right Honorable Speaker and his able leaders for bringing up this thoughtful idea. I think that Parliament Pulse itself is a living example of how change is going to occur, because through this particular show, a lot of students would be able to learn. And I think that for students, the most important thing is a learning experience, and we are doing that for them as well.
Wow. Interesting. Now, let's talk about responsibility in ATU Parliament. Are members held accountable when they fail to perform their duties? Let me come to Honorable.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, they are really accountable for that. Yes, it's not based on camera sake, but we really we have procedures that we follow, sanctions, and some will be fined, as we talk about last time. One honorable got didn't directly or officially put things in place right, and he was found 100 cities to his decision. So yes,
meaning he disobeyed the orders.
Yes, please. And discipline was taken place by finding him.
Okay. Honorable Crusader, do you think accountability is strong enough?
Yes, so I think that as an institution, we have standing orders, we have procedures that we are supposed to follow as honorable members. And before entering the parliament, you are oriented, you are taught of all these things. So before you even enter into the parliament, a sort of accountability is actually ingrained into you. So much so that even you, as an honorable member, where you are going wrong, your own consciousness would actually find you guilty. And I think that's one painful way of holding somebody accountable, is making them feel guilty in of themselves, because that in itself actually has a way of making you, or has a way of you making your decision. Apart from that, just as you rightly said, just as we have standing orders, you would be dealt with according to those standing orders if you should flout the laws in any way.
Wow.
Yes. So there is a high level of accountability.
Okay. So now, talking about accountability, this brings us to discipline. To Honorable, this goes to you. Is there any real discipline in the house?
Yes, there is. And to take notice or to recognize, there have been a lot of discipline through all our sessions, and even from leadership meetings, our regular settings, the discipline level is really high. It's really, and I think from testimonies, most honorable members has learned a lot of discipline attitude or discipline ways through the parliament house. So for me, it is very
But with the discipline, is it consistent?
100%.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. So let's look at the perception outside the house. Okay, do you think student parliament is being taken seriously by the university authorities?
Well, I smile because I think that right here on campus, one particular problem that most institutions or organizations that find themselves here on ATU campus face is visibility. I think that is why the Right Honorable Speaker, together with his able leaders, brought up the idea of hosting this particular show. So first and foremost, I think that what we need right now is to build that visibility, to get to that point where the school authorities or all stakeholders involved would actually see us or hear our voice without we having to prove that we are here. And I think that for now, that should be the major focus. With time, if all plans should go as expected, we are more than certain that we are going to reach there.
Yeah,
As to
yeah,
whether
probably.
the school authorities are seeing us, I just think that there is more work to be done, and we as honorable members will do our parts, and we'll just expect fate to do the rest.
Yeah. Yes, in your food, Japan and APM. And it's good that you've started this. And we hope they see all that we are doing there. Yeah. So, Honorable Revelation, what is your view on how authorities respond to ATU Parliament?
Okay. Mm, Based on experience, I think there is an improvement. From
Mm,
level 100, I go to ATU Parliament House. How
mm,
they respond to our views or they respond to our petitions
okay.
compared to now, there has been a massive improvement.
Mm,
Our patron is really doing well, and I think there is an improvement.
okay.
Even with this Parliament plus, I mean, there is an improvement.
Wow.
Yes. So for me, I think there is hope for more.
Okay. Now let's be honest about challenges.
Okay.
Has there been any major weakness of ATU Parliament?
Okay. Uh, they will use the word honest, and I think most of the honorable members in the electoral parliament are also, some of them, let me put it, most, they're occupying position at the department level, at the SRC level. Most of them too are working. So it's like we have a kind of group of people where they are coming from different sector of
Okay.
leadership, of duties
Mm,
to form this parliament. So our honest challenge is how we schedule our time to gather ourselves to meet often. So most of our meeting is online,
okay.
and which is helping though, which is helping because our current leadership team, I can see they are really sacrificing a lot
Wow.
just to make sure the Parliament House is being heard, or this year's Parliament House, there will be a massive improvement. So I think it's personal time that is really drilling us. That's one
Mm,
weakness, but we are
okay.
improving on it, as I
Mm,
said. Yeah, there is.
okay. Honorable Kusida, do you agree with what he's saying, or you see different weakness?
For me, I think that the biggest weakness for the ATUPH is the lack of visibility.
Mm,
So I use myself as an example. I think that there are so many talented individuals, there are so many noble individuals who are willing to serve, but then they just need someone to point them in that direction and tell them that and mentor them.
yeah.
That is one reason why the ATUPH exists, to nurture these individuals to become the best version of themselves for society to better and enjoy from them, right?
Okay.
But then the problem here is that because we don't have that visibility,
Mm,
we are unable to get those people to our side. So we already have the OGs who already exist and know their way forward. But then I think that the ATUPH is supposed to nurture individuals. So here lies the case. We just have old people and we are unable to bring in the new ones, mentor them. And I think that for that particular part of it is very, very bad. What it then becomes is after these individuals graduate, you don't have fresh people who can make the house as engaging,
mm,
as hot as possible, because parliament is just where we have heated debates, people learn from these things. It's very exciting when you get to know it and when you get people with experiences. So I feel like this particular lack of visibility has become a very shortcoming thing for the
okay.
ACUPH, and we need to really, really do better on that.
Wow. Now, talking about debates, let's get into the qualities of debate in ATU Parliament. Are debates in the House impactful or just routine formalities?
Very impactful. The concepts of debates is not just about one person speaking and the other person listening, or two individuals just having arguments together. It's about changing mindsets, mindsets. It's about indoctrinating people into good ideas. It's about
Okay.
teaching people that apart from using this particular field, there is another line that you can toe that can also give you a better result, right? And I think that the nature of these debates, whenever we have parliamentary sessions, are tailored on key issues that some way somehow border society. So these are not just any random debate topics that we have
Okay.
or random debate sessions we have. These are key issues in society. Talk about education. I think the last session we had a very exciting debate session
Okay.
on the impact of the free SHS, free
Stress. Yeah.
tertiary,
Okay.
the no fee stress
No fee stress. Yeah.
policy. And I think that even though it is very, very interesting, it also goes to broaden people's horizons on how they think.
Okay.
Because to be able to deliver a very good debate, you have to actually think. You have
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to
Very
explain
deep.
yourself. You have to analyze these things. And I'd say very, very confidently that anybody who has had the opportunity to go through these things definitely would have a change in how they think, and this is a
Wow.
very huge impact that we're having on society now.
Wow. Honorable revelation. Do debates lead to real outcomes?
Yeah, they do. They do. They do. They do. Because as she's my honorable said, she talked about how during debates how people express their feelings and through that the topics that has been the motion that's been debated on is being you have to do more research
Yeah, yeah.
and whilst someone is doing more research
The person's
talking
learning
about it
more.
the more the person is learning and
Mm.
even those that come to visit those visiting they would learn more. That's the opportunity or a platform for them to know more about it because as she was saying our last sitting we learn more even though we the leaders did our own research but the contribution that came from both side was really impactful and we learned more and I think it's really making a good part
Wow.
in our
Wow.
lives.
I myself can see it. And I remember sometime we had an interview with the former president. I think last 2 years, yes. And the way they spoke on the show, it was so nice to the extent that my director was like, "Wow, this show was so interesting." Yeah, I think the president was a lady. No, no, it wasn't actually ATU Parliament, but then debate, ATU debate. Yeah, and Parliament is more about debating.
Sure,
So I believe it changes the stage of the student.
And
sure.
sorry to interject, but then the other thing also is that the people you see right here on campus occupying these leadership positions, even whether in the ATUPH or outside of the ATUPH, but on campus, are the same people we are going to be seeing as leaders 10
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
15
yeah,
years from now. Talk about the Edem Agbanas and the rest.
Mm,
These people went through these things little by little. They were groomed, and then we saw them there. So I think that for a platform like this that is able to groom and mentor people, we would have great leaders out there, and we would be able to nurture our leaders so that they don't go to sit at the top there and ignore us. So
wow. So it means that the ATU Parliament gives a lot of opportunities to students
definitely,
after shaping you.
definitely.
Wow.
As long as you are willing to learn, as long as you are willing to hit to the core, there's always going to be a core. But then you would have to say, yes, master, I'm listening.
Wow, interesting. So now let's look at transparency.
Okay.
Okay, so how transparent is decision making process within the house?
Very transparent. I think this one, honorable
Honorable.
minority leader.
Okay.
So as she started very transparent so I think
Mm,
yeah because when decision will be made it's based on votes
mhm,
and also minutes is being published within 24 hours.
mm.
So I think there's a really high level of transparency
Okay.
from the
But
process.
Gloria, do members and students get enough clarity on decisions?
Yes, definitely.
Mm,
So when it comes, just as I said earlier, parliamentary proceedings are there. There are standing orders. There are processes that decision has to go through before it is finally agreed on upon by every individual or every honorable member of the parliament. So you don't have a case where one individual, quote and unquote, perhaps the right honorable speaker will just come and say, okay, right now I think that every honorable member is supposed to do maybe this or that. It doesn't happen like that. So if there is a decision to be made, it is presented before the House.
Okay.
Then proceedings would fall through, where finally there's going to be a vote by both caucuses, that is the majority and then the minority, and then decision would therefore be taken. So if the House is not in acceptance of something in particular, I don't think that the right honorable speaker would watch that or would impose it, because we have orders, we have regulations, we have systems that these things pass through. It is not a lawless house. We have laws over there.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about power and influence. This goes to you. Should ATU Parliament have more power in influencing SRC decision?
Yes, definitely. I think that this falls back to the principle of checks and balances. Who watches the watchman at this point? In this quote, I like to refer to the ATU General Assembly as the watchman, who is obviously watching over the general students' body. But then who also watches the watchman? In the night when you have gone to sleep, where is the guarantee that this watchman who is supposed to protect your house won't fall asleep, or won't leave their post, or won't even connive with criminals to come and then steal from you? There is nothing like that. I feel like because both houses are interested in student leadership, accountability, and generally making students' life better on campus, I think that a mutual, connection would really bring out huge benefits for both sides. So we get that level of accountability and transparency. And then also the ATUPH can even serve as a watchman, just as I earlier stated, for the General Assembly. We can actually sit on their backs and on their necks and make sure that certain things that they said they were going to do is being enforced and that students' life is being made better. Because one thing we realize in ATU is that, and not just ATU, generally in societies, that when people want to, or when people want power, they come and promise all sorts of things. They tell you all sorts of things just to brainwash you or just to get you into voting for them. But then after that, what next? Where is the accountability? How do you hold individuals responsible for the actions that they make? And we don't have that in ATU. So I think that there should come a time where the ATU General Assembly and the ATU Parliament House would have a mutual agreement, and then we can work mutually, because both of our goals is generally to make students' life better.
I think it is a responsibility of the president to work on the constitution to make some changes.
For that, I think that there have been constitution, both parties, that is the ATU General Assembly and then the ATU Parliament House, both of them do have their constitutions and both of them have their ways. And I think that over time, both have actually acted independently. So for a change like this to occur, it will take a whole process. Even though I think that the process might be long, it is still a possibility that cannot be ruled out. So it doesn't necessarily rest on the president's shoulders, because even the president works with other individuals. And that is why they also have something like a general assembly. So even if the president has an idea, it would have to go through his people as well for them to be in agreement. But the point here is that we all want students to have a better life. We all want students to move freely, be able to breathe freely whenever they are on campus. We want students to have peace of mind whenever they are on campus, and then enjoy the best benefits that they should get. Not making it look as if like they are not entitled to it, or it is being handed out to them, but because they do deserve it, because they are students of ATU.
Interested. Revelation, Honorable Revelation. Do you support the increase of influence?
I think from what she's saying, I think I support what she's saying because ATU Parliament House partnering with the SRC will be a great impact in the student body's life or the university. So I personally will urge the school authority to work on that for us. Even though we have written, there's a petition through our patron to the school authority. But I'll use this platform to seek for that because I think, as she said, who watches the watchman?
Hmm.
I think if we have a system like that, it's going to help and
It's
also
going to
improve
exactly.
the student body.
Hmm. All right. So let's close with leadership. I'll start with you, Honorable.
Okay.
What makes your leadership different from the previous one?
All right. I think basically it's focusing on discipline and accountability
Hmm.
and completing what we started. So I think seeing for now as it stands, that's what I'm seeing that it's really helping. The
Okay.
discipline level is high, the accountability level is high, and the aim and the eager to complete what we have started is is in the high level. That
Okay.
makes me very different from other leaders.
Wow. Honorable Gloria Crusader, what is your final thought on this?
Um, with regards to leadership, I cannot say much because I have only been part of this whole movement for less than a year. So I think that um, the honorable leaders are the ones to best say and to best answer this question. But then, per what I have seen, I think that this particular leadership is one that is very, very active because there's always one event for you to be at, there's always one seminar for you to learn from.
Exactly.
So I think that for this particular move, I would like to really give the credit to them because a parliament house needs to be as active as possible.
Wow. So your final advice to those who want to join?
Well, to those who want to join, I just like to say that ATU Parliament House is a very, very nice place to be, a very interesting one. But most importantly, if you are looking for a place to shape up your life, give you direction, and then mentor you generally, then ATUPH is the best
Number
place
one.
for you
Wow.
because you are not only going to get mentorship, but you are also going to get active participation because every honorable member is allowed to actively participate, and you are not just going to be a watcher, but then an active worker. So, yes.
Wow. Okay. Honorable, your final words.
Yeah. So what I also say that the parliament is really helping a lot of people. So if you have the passion for leadership, I think that will be the parliament house will be a very great place for you to come. And also we help and develop ideas. That's where it's going to boost your system, your confidence in idea developing. As they say, your idea defines you. So it's not about leadership per se, but also grooms you to develop ideas, to make right decisions confidently. And I think the Parliament House is the right place to be.
The
Thank you.
Parliament House is the right place to be. This discussion shows where ATU Parliament stands. And this brings us to the end of Parliament Pause right here on ATU TV. My name is Bright Watcher, and a big thanks goes to our guest for today's show and to all the media team. See you same time next week. Bye bye.